Planned Parenthood is a 501c3 nonprofit, which means if you give them money, you write it off on your taxes. So basically, the United States government is helping fund Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood has announced they're going to spend $40 million on Democrat candidates opposing Republican candidates across America in these elections this coming November. How are they going to do that and still be a nonprofit? We're going to explain it. Will Johnson, Planned Parenthood has just announced that in this election cycle, they're going to spend, I want to check it, $40 million promoting candidates that they like and opposing candidates they don't like. To translate that into English, if you're pro-abortion, you're going to get Planned Parenthood money. And if you're pro-life, you're going to get ZIP and you're going to get opposed in both the primaries and in the general election. I looked them up. Planned Parenthood is a 501c3, which means it's a non-profit for the public good, which means if you donate to them, probably not going to happen, 30% or 35%, depending on your tax bracket, of what you give them is going to be subsidized by the government. In addition, the government gives them a gajillion dollars a year for women's health care, which translates, for those of you out there in ATP land that don't know, that translates as abortion. ATP is a nonprofit, and as part of our 501c3 designation, we're required not to be involved in any politics, not to spend money, donated money on political campaigns, and we follow that rule religiously. How does Planned Parenthood get away with this?
Because of the money being funneled to the Democrat Party. That's how they're able to get away with it. And as long as they get to funnel the money to the Democrat Party, they're not going to stop it, because we're talking about billions of dollars a year that's going into the Planned Parenthood. And the reason why I call it Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, which was a happy Klans member, started Planned Parenthood in the black neighborhoods and to get black women to abort their children. And now they're still doing the exact same thing. People donate money to Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood, like you just mentioned, get all of these millions of dollars from the federal government. Then they turn right around and then they endorse and they even fund some of these Democrat politicians. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Barry, but can ATP fund a political opponent of any sort? So how in the world does Planned Parenthood get to do it? Because it's the Democrat Party that they're supporting.
I'm looking for the answer. They formed a subsidiary affiliate called Planned Parenthood Votes.
Oh, so that's they funnel money to that.
Right. They spent $45 million on the Biden campaign in 2020.
Wow.
And $50 million. These are real numbers, according to them. $50 million in 2022 in the midterms. I want to add one background point. You call them Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, founded Planned Parenthood because she was an avowed racist. She felt that blacks in America were, and these are her words, an inferior race, and that their population needed to be limited. I mean, she actually said these things.
Oh, yeah.
And published them and made hundreds of speeches. Her goal was to greatly decrease the population percentage of black Americans in America, because she felt it was destroying the humanity of America. And what's really crazy is people like Hillary Clinton consider Margaret Sanger, this is not a joke, as her hero.
Yep.
And she's like this icon in the feminist community. And she was a ferociously racist lady 100 years ago. Parenthood was formed expressly for the purpose of keeping black population limited.
And it's been like that ever since until President Trump with the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. And now they're all upset. The black population in the United States of America went from 13.1% to now 16.7%. And they're furious about that. There's too many black people, according to the Democrats. And you know what? But Barry, Margaret Sanger can't take complete, total blame for it, because you have to blame some of these black churches, these pastors in these black churches. What happened was that when Margaret Sanger realized that black people just were not rushing to these Planned Parenthoods to abort their children, what did she do? She went to the black church, made a deal with the pastor, had some money come up under the table to the pastor. Here's some money. Convince your women to go into these Planned Parenthood facilities for women's health care. And then guess what happened? They started telling their congregation, go to Planned Parenthood and start murdering your child. They have to be held responsible as well.
I think you're right. And I want to add to what you said. Roe v. Wade was reversed by the Supreme Court. It didn't ban abortions.
Correct.
What it did was it said, and Trump was right about this constitutionally, it's not a federal issue, it's a state issue. So the Supreme Court sent it back to the states. They didn't ban abortion. So all this talking point noise from places like The View and MSNBC screaming that abortion was banned by Trump and his Supreme Court out of control and we need to remove justices and on and on. The Supreme Court said, listen, if you live in a state where the state wants to make it legal, then the state will make it legal. And if you live in a state where the state doesn't want to make it illegal, then it's not legal. And quite honestly, that lets the people decide on a state-by-state basis. And if most people say in California want it, then they've got it. And if people in, say, Florida don't want it, then they don't. And the people are deciding. I don't understand the hysteria of laws overriding the people's wishes.
But that's, for them, that is the problem. You're going to allow people to decide. They don't want to allow people to decide. They want to tell people that murdering a child is okay. Murdering a child is good health care. They don't want people deciding. And you know, you're right, Barry. When they put this back to the states, they said, why are they doing this? Because they said, 80% of the people in this country want abortion. This is what they were reporting. 80% of the people in this country. And I'm thinking to myself, really, 80%? That's pretty high. If that's the case, then why are you upset with it going back to the states? Because if that was true, if 80% of the people in this country wanted abortion, then we would have abortion in every single state across the United States of America. They know that's not true. They're lying, trying to convince everyone, just go ahead and vote for it. It's going to be there because the majority of people want it. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. It's a manipulation game. Majority of the people in this country believe in having life. They believe in the sanctity of life. Majority of the people, even these people that's trying to kill life, they believe in keeping their life.
And I might add to that. It's hard for me to say it without getting emotional. In some states, the governors have said, Massachusetts and New York in particular, we believe, I know this sounds unbelievable, in abortion up to the moment and including birth. I'm sorry, that's murder. And I don't want to get into it because I'm going to lose it. But if you live in a state that believes like that, your state's on a slippery slope to the dark side. And that's insane.
Yeah,
I mean, it
really is
insane.
Yeah,
Give the
really
baby up. There's a waiting list for 10 years in some places for adoption, where a loving family can take that child and give it the life that the child deserves. Abortion at birth, my opinion, that's nuts.
It really is, but that's what they're pushing for. But then when you bring that topic up, when you bring it up, Barry, they try to say it's not true when it's 100% true. And the reason why in certain settings they'll say it's not true is because they have a lot of eyes watching and they don't want people to have this perception that they actually want to take the life of the child up to the age of birth. In some cases, Barry, there's been discussion about them doing it even after 2 years.
Oh, please.
There's been discussion about 2 years after, like, I changed my mind. I can't do this any longer. Abort this child.
So this is like taking back a stereo to Costco because you don't want it anymore?
Yeah.
Changed my mind.
I changed my mind. Here's a receipt.
Oh, my God. Get informed, voters. Find out what's going on in your state. If you're not informed, it's nobody's fault but yours.